This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Had wall-to-wall guests today.
Which was good. Nathan was down sick, but so many people stepped in. We had Lisa McCune to kick things off, Nat.
Yes,
Hard
Sean.
for me to
Well
say
said.
for some reason.
Liam Bartlett joined us. He's from Spotlight on Channel 7. He's got a cracking story this week about a murderer who murdered with iced coffee, which is...
Drink of choice.
Controversial. And tradies should be quaking in their boots. And plus, comedian Nazeem Hussain dropped by and stuck around for a couple of breaks. He's so funny.
He is very, very good. You'll also hear a story about what I stole from the local pool.
And when you come home after a holiday, what you walk into.
This is Nathan, Nat and Sean. On Nova 937.
It's 6:04. Nathan, Nat and Sean. Nathan's off today. Sean's here, though. Look at him.
Raring to go, Natalie, on a Thursday.
What a specimen.
I felt like you were looking at my T-shirt.
I am looking at it because you are wearing a white long-sleeve tee and this is breaking news, everybody.
It's breaking news.
There are no stains on it.
When you were looking, I was thinking, have I already stained this shirt? Because
Obviously white toothpaste.
Okay, that's one to me.
Well done. Good for
thank
you.
you.
Good for you, champ.
Hey, we're full today. We've got heaps of people to talk to.
We do. So in just a few minutes' time, we're going to catch up with legend of the Australian screen, Lisa McCune, who is doing a turn on Taskmaster at the moment. And she's so funny because she's very, very well-mannered and well-behaved. And she tried to be a bad girl last week and it wasn't overly convincing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've seen some of the shorts on her Instagram in particular. You're like, whoa, did that come out of her mouth?
Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Australia's darling. Currently, one of the cast members on Taskmaster Australia, which is on tonight at 7:30 on Channel 10 and 10 Play. The one and only Logie Award-winning Lisa McCune. Hello.
Hey, good morning, guys. What an effort. Early for you guys.
Oh, we
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay.
No, we're used to it, Lisa. It's fine.
We barely woke up.
Let's talk about Taskmaster, because when I saw that you were on it, because traditionally, they go hard at comedians, and
For sure.
you're funny, but you're not a stand-up comedian, and so
No.
when they asked you to do it, were you worried?
No, look, do you know what? I found out about Taskmaster during lockdown over here in Melbourne. My son and I used to love watching it. He
So
watches
good.
great comedy. He's really addicted. So I watched it, and when they rang, I thought, it's really bizarre, but I went, yes, I'd love to do it. And, of course, the house is in New Zealand, so we fly to New Zealand and film there. And I kind of thought, you know what, it's a little bit like improv, and as an actor, you kind of... You just have to play the truth, don't you, with that stuff? And as they said, you don't try to be funny, just go for it. And I did, and I just took it really seriously and had the best time because they're such bonkers tasks that you're sort of just, you're just in the pit with everybody else. But they are great. The comedians, when we're in the studio, it really is like being on a freeway and you're going 60 and they're going 120. They're so quick.
I bet.
But they were kind to me. They were nice, and it's probably good to have, someone like me in there to mix just to be a little
Well,
bit kind of
every
normal.
great comedian, a straight guy is actually, part of the act, essentially. So
Maybe, yeah. But I really did have... It was actually a really selfish kind of, I want to do this job, because my agent said to me, you kind of want to do this. It's not really something that, would normally put you forward for. And I just said, you know what, Taskmaster's great and my kids will love it.
Yeah. Oh, Lisa, I'd feel a little bit intimidated, like you said, because... you go back and you sit with all the comedians and, like you said, they're going 100 miles an hour. I'd be feeling intimidated then. But I want to know the distance between when you filmed some of your stuff to when you went back to the studio and you all sat around and watched it. What kind of time frame? Because I'd imagine you forget half the stuff you did.
Yeah, you do. And because you do so many tasks, you're doing like 10 a day. It's really, really full on. And it's like going to see a football match. When everyone sits in a football match and, goes, oh, you should have done this and you should have done that. And that's what happens, when you watch these shows. But when you're doing it, it's a really different vibe. And you're so limited. Like, I used to stack my jackets with stuff. Like, I asked for these jackets and there's heaps of pockets. So I could just, put tape and pens and chalk and any balloons, anything I thought might help me.
Yep.
I got really paranoid. But what was the question?
No, well, on that, did any of those things help you?
Yes.
Oh, they did. Yeah, okay.
They really did, yeah.
Okay.
And that was my kind of go-to, because you're not allowed to really talk to anybody, and when you finish a task, you're taken straight back to one room, so you're isolated, so they can set up for the next. But that's what I was going to say. So after New Zealand, after you do the 5 days there,
yes.
and you don't even know who the other people are who are on the show with you. So I didn't know that it was Dave when I first got my first task with Dave.
Yeah.
And then after that, we did Cockatoo Island, which was great in Sydney. So they take you out to this island, and that's where you see all those amazing, scenes with those big warehouses and stuff. That was really cool.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then you do the studio and watch it back. But, yeah, you sort of have forgotten, and you kind of know the tasks that you really failed at. Like, there was some that you're out there kind of going, why is this taking me an hour to even begin to understand what's going on here? And that's fun. And it's seeing how everybody else, I was really excited to see how everybody else approached it.
Working with the two Toms as well, as hosts and co-hosts, that's always an interesting, because they come at you too hard.
Aren't they brilliant? They're so funny. I mean, really, really funny. And I just sat in the studio, and I felt like half the time I was just observing these great wits just flying, but the kindness as well. Like, comedians, they're not mean.
No, that's
it's
true.
really good humour, and I think that's the difference sometimes between, they're not nasty about people, which I kind of love. I love that humour, and you just felt very part of a great team. It was like sitting around a great family table, having a great bonkers dinner with your family.
Yeah, that's cool.
Lisa, when you're watching them back, because sometimes you don't know how it's going to cut up, for starters. So, and also you don't know. You might forget what actually happened while you were doing it, and then you have to watch and go, oh, dear God. And I'm thinking, the one that I'm thinking of is when you and Hughesy had to do that museum display.
Oh, my God.
So when you're watching that back, and at least you've got a mate in with that, suffering with you, but is there, what's your thought process? You kind of, you sometimes your brain goes straight to the really obvious humour, and then with that one there, and then you're working with someone else, and you're kind of going, well, do you want to take the lead on this one, or I've got a bit of an idea on this one, and you're given, of course, you've got that time limitation as well. So, you don't want to step on anyone else's toes, because you don't know the other person, intimately. I know Dave, but I don't know him really well. So you're just kind of going, oh, my God, how do we get through this? And you just kind of, I guess, build on it. But you just, when you get a flow, you get a flow, though. Yeah. Once you get going, it's great. And you never know which way they're going to go. There was a great task with Emma where they hid keys in a car. Yes, that was right in the very beginning. Yeah, it was amazing.
In the beginning, and Emma just threw them out. But the way she took that, and she turned that into just a brilliant moment.
And they never found the keys.
And they never found the keys. And even Dave, reading the clue and actually in that task just driving and leaving. Absolutely brilliant. Sometimes you have a brainwave and luck goes your way.
Yeah.
But yeah, really. I can't tell people how much fun it was, and it genuinely is. It's not.
It looks fun.
It's interesting what happens when you're in that improv situation, because you wonder what's coming out of your mouth, and sometimes the suggestive humour comes out, and a little bit risque, which is what we've seen.
That's Tommy Little. That's just Tommy Little to a T. Everything he just pulled out his pants.
Yeah, that's right.
And Tom Gleeson is he doesn't miss a trick. He is like the minute an eyeball movement and he's gotcha. He's smart. And Tom Cashman, though, it was this very weird feeling after leaving New Zealand House after 5 days. I felt kind of weird going through life without Tom Cashman there. It was like just
there with an
friend standing by my side. Yeah, and I loved it. He's such a dear man. My son turned 21 during filming in Sydney, and I said to the guys, "Oh, my son loves the show," and the two of them filmed the most fantastic birthday message for my son. They're kind as well. They're great people. Yeah. I can see why that comedy community is just such a wonderful one. I can't say nice enough stuff about them.
So-
They're just great people.
Oh, that's nice.
Are we going to see you starting to do stand-up? Lisa
Yeah.
McCune?
No, do you know what? It's funny you say that because that is the one thing. Doing things on my own, like I even, in the past I've been asked to do, like one-woman shows,
Yes.
like a Shirley Valentine or Don't Tell Me on a Sunday musicals and stuff. And it's a weird thing, but I don't have a lot of interest in it. I love working with other performers and other people. It's just my thing. I just like being part of something with others. I don't
You're
know
a team
if I
player.
can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just don't know. I mean, I can get up and tell a funny story, but I just don't know if it's me doing stand-up. But, hey, you get me drunk and who knows what would happen.
No, the other thing is we just need to get you the right jacket. You get the right jacket. We just
With all your
stuff all the
balloons
stuff and go for it, Lise.
I thought I was brilliant. Let me tell you, I
Half an
really
office
did think
works
that I
in
was
there.
brilliant. But anyway.
Oh, stapler.
Love your work, Lisa. You're a pure delight. Thank you so much for talking
Hey,
to us
guys,
this morning.
thank you so much. And, it's actually clean enough at 7:30 tonight that if you do want to put the kids in front of the telly, anything that's too highbrow will probably go over their heads.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you get that kind of multi-generational enjoyment out of it.
So you're not trying to be a bad girl this week like you were last week?
No, but they bleeped all the naughty out, which was good.
Good on you, Lise.
7:30 tonight
All
on
right,
Channel
guys, have a
10 and
great
10
day.
Play. Good on you, Lisa. Thank you.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
You did a bit of abracadabra yesterday. You made something disappear, Sean.
I did, Nat. I zipped out of here yesterday to go and have a swim because we had an interview happening like quarter to 11.
Later in the morning, yeah. So there was a time gap of about an hour and a quarter, probably.
Yeah.
I went shopping at
45
Mecca.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. What did you do?
Yeah, so I went to Bold Park and I jumped into a swimming group and Kindman, who's taught me to swim and all the rest of it, she's running it. So we're doing all these sprints and it's all finished and I'm aware of the clock because I knew what time we had to be out of here, but I also knew that our guest is always traditionally late. So I was hoping...
You were
I
banking on
worked
that.
to 10:35 on the
Yes.
dot. And it got to the end, and then I literally jumped out of the water and grabbed my towel,
Yeah.
and grabbed my stuff, and then everyone's
off.
yelling at me, "Oh my God, look at Sean go! What's he got on?" I said, "Yeah, got to go.
Gotta
Sorry, off I go." And then I'm driving down, and I'm going past Wembley Golf Course, and I get a call from Kindwin, and she's like, "Oh, Sean, just want to let you know that you swam really well today." And I thought,
Oh, that's really nice of her to
Isn't that
ring and
nice?
tell you that.
But the reason why I'm ringing is because you stole Natalie's towel. It was a Natalie. I've just checked.
So wait, you've jumped out of the pool and grabbed somebody else's towel
Yeah.
and bolted with it.
And bolted. And then I went, "Oh, I'm really sorry." I said, "What was it?" And I'm looking at the towel. It's wrapped around my waist. I'm sitting on it. And it's a Bustleton 2025 towel.
Oh.
And I went, "Oh, okay,
What were you?
sorry."
Well, where was your towel then?
Mine was a Bustleton 2024 towel,
Oh.
which I left,
Easy mistake.
which I thought I left on the table.
Yeah, so obviously
I said-
she just used your towel.
Yeah, no, they said that there was no towel for her to use.
Oh, you took
but they
your
found
towel
her
as
one.
well.
So, yeah.
So
when
wait,
I-
you took her towel and your towel and ran away?
Yeah, so I was looking on the passenger seat and then I'm thinking, "Oh, God, I've got her towel around me and I've got my towel on the seat." She's just sitting there dripping like a
Dripping
shag.
wet.
It's like, what an idiot. What an arsehole.
So,
You would think,
yes.
because the one thing you need is you just need
Be
your
like,
towel.
hang on, wait, Sean McManus just stole my towel. Former Dockers captain Sean McManus just ran off with my
I
towel.
literally ran out the door with it, yeah. Anyway, hopefully she gets it back.
Have you washed it? Or you
Chucked
just
it on the line. I chucked it on
just-
the line.
Oh, you-
No, I did. I forgot. I just walked in the house and I chucked
So
it
you
on the
hung
line.
it on the line, and then what? You're just going to give her back a dry but used towel?
Yeah, I didn't think
That's
that
Amy
part.
laughing in the background because she knows you are a monster. We've got Liam Bartlett coming in shortly, and
Yeah.
we're going to. This is next episode
That's
of Spotlight,
Spotlight,
obviously. He's going to be right onto this crime.
All right, Natalie, you're going to get your towel back. Hopefully it'll be washed.
Not me. The
Oh,
other
yeah.
one, the victim of this crime.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
So, family in Shepparton, and which is in regional Victoria.
Yeah, if you're heading towards Albury and Wodonga, which share the same border.
Yes, it's on the way.
Shepparton's on the way there. And
that's
they've got a greyhound track and a trotting track. I mean, someone told me.
He doesn't know about any of the other facilities, but
Here's the problem, though.
What?
Sorry, I'm taking things off track for a second. When I was there in Albury, Wodonga, I placed a bed in Albury on this Saturday, and literally across the road, the other side of the road, right, is Wodonga.
yes.
You can't then change because it's two different states.
Oh, so you couldn't claim your win on the other side of the river.
No.
Great chat. So anyway, in Shepparton, one of the local doctors had gone on holidays so he's originally from Nepal, took the family back to Nepal for a holiday to see family, came back, and he works very hard. Regional doctors, geez, they work hard.
Yeah, they do.
And then he came back from Nepal with his family and walked up to the house and opened the door, and there's a drunk man eating pizza sitting on their couch. They
did he get the wrong house?
They did not know this drunk man. It wasn't the house sitter that they left because they didn't have a house sitter. They just locked up and went on holidays and came back. And it turns out that there were people coming and going the whole time. Squatters essentially moved into their house during the 3 weeks that they're away, rifled through, took a whole lot of their stuff, and obviously then he said, "I'm calling the police to get," and he said, "I'm not leaving. I live here." Like, no, this is our house. And this guy's like, no, I live here now. What do you do? That's hard to argue with.
They did lose a whole lot of jewellery, which the wife was saying that she'd have jewellery left behind, and that was really upsetting. The fact that somebody has moved into your own house.
And then to argue with the people when they came home. Like, not to go, "Oh, my God, I'm caught." Go, no, I live here now. Look, see, I'm here eating pizza on your couch.
I think the neighbours were saying there was 17 to 19 people who regularly visited the house during that week.
And the police were called out a number of times because, of course, there was some fairly antisocial behaviour.
No doubt.
But there is when you get home, I mean, and they've come from Nepal they've travelled back from Nepal. You're tired. You're tired. You've got your bags. The kids are irritable. You just want to have a shower and go to bed, don't you?
100%.
And not deal with a drunk guy eating pizza on your couch.
Getting back to the coming home and just going to bed because you've been travelling, the one thing that we always do, and I'm sure everyone does this, is you have fresh sheets and stuff and you make your bed perfectly. So you come back to something new and done and ready to go because you're always tired.
Yes.
You're right, Nat. But the other part to that is when I come home regularly and if we've all been out for an extended period of time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, when I go to open the door, I'm really wary that I'm opening it to a house that may have been ransacked or empty. There's all those thoughts that go through your mind before you walk through that door.
You keep telling everyone you're going on holidays.
Oh, that's a bad thing. Megan always says, "Why are you telling people?"
Yeah. And, well, you came back this time and because 2 of the boys had been left behind and you weren't sure if it was going to be neat and tidy, were you?
Yeah, no. I'd send multiple text messages because I kept saying, "Your mother's going to fly off the handle and I don't need that if you guys do not clean the house." They did. That's the first time it's ever happened.
Yeah.
But you don't know who you're walking into.
I have a house sitter and she's amazing. She's a friend of mine and she does such an incredible job of looking after my animals for starters. That's the most important thing to me. Everything else is by the by. But also she is the tidiest, neatest, cleanest person I've ever met in my life. And she, when I've been away, some of the things she's done previously, she has organised my pantry for me. She went right through the linen cupboard and because one of the shelves had kind of collapsed a little bit under the weight and she sorted all of that out for me. She will literally just go in and organise all of my spice drawer. She did one time. Under the sink cupboard, organised all of that. And I'm like, I come back, this house has never been cleaner while I've lived in it.
That's great.
That's the upside.
Yep.
The downside is there's a drunk guy on your couch eating pizza and you can't get rid of him.
100%. What happens if you come home, though, and apart from the house, people living in the house and or being ransacked or whatever the case is, what happens if you forgot to turn a tap off?
Yes.
Or,
I know someone whose pipes burst in the wall and the whole house was flooded.
You don't need to come home to those things.
No. What did you come home to?
Monica is in Cannington. Good morning, Mon.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, Mon, what did you come home to?
It's not as bad as what happened to those families. So we went on a holiday for about 7 days. It was the middle of summer, and I forgot to take the bin out. And it was a pretty full bin.
Monica.
And when we came back, middle of the night, and I thought something was wrong, and it was floor and cupboard full of maggots.
Oh, hey, Mon, I know that is one of the worst things ever.
It is.
And that happens at our house sometimes because the kids don't put the bin down properly.
Yes.
And in some of the, you know what the flies are like. But
that's
inside your house.
Yeah, gross.
It was so gross, and it was terrible, and it was 12 o'clock at night, and I had to, pick up all those maggots. Oh, my God, it was just the worst. And this happened twice, not only once.
Oh, what? Twice. Once you go, okay, but twice. Come on, that's on you, Monica. Come on. We're trying to be on your side here, but that's gross.
I hate that. So what did you do? How did you get? Did you just kind of wipe them all out, or did you fly spray them? What did you do?
Oh, It was just like, I feel like puking like every minute. So I had to grab like a tissue, and because they were everywhere, like all throughout the living room and dining room.
Oh!
Because I've been crawling around, I had to pick them all up individually.
Oh!
Oh, it was the worst nightmare ever.
And where had you come back from? Had you been travelling a long time?
I believe I was in Thailand.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
at that time.
So you're looking at a 7-8 hour plus airport time. So probably you'd been on the go for about 10 hours, and you wander in, and you've got to deal with that at midnight.
Yeah.
I think I just would have walked out again and gone and checked into a hotel and dealt with that in the morning.
You guys got to shut the door, don't you?
Oh, that's awful. Thank you, Monica. Carrie's in Butler. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, Carrie.
Okay, so what happened?
I'm so glad mine wasn't the same story as mine.
I know, how awful was that?
That's gross.
That's disgusting. I was going through a divorce, and the marital home was being sold, and at the same time, I'd booked a trip to Europe with a girlfriend for 6 weeks. So what happened is, while I was away, the settlement on the home that was getting sold settled, and my dad, who had power of attorney for me, he actually finalised that for me and bought my new home for me while I was in Europe.
Yep.
And then when I came back, they had painted the whole house and put all the furniture in. So I basically left an old home married, come back from my trip single because my divorce went through while I was away, and I moved into a new home.
Oh, painted and furnished.
Everything, your dad did everything. So everything was set up, your bed was made, it was all magical.
Yeah, my dad had done everything. He'd moved all the furniture from the old house to the new house with my brother, painted all the walls inside, moved the furniture in, and it was all set up. So I just had to walk in and
start your new life.
What a champion.
And not one maggot. It's amazing.
No maggots.
I think out of those two stories, Carrie, you're the winner.
That is so
that's
lovely.
incredible, isn't it? That's so
It is incredible. I've got beautiful family, so I'm very blessed.
You do,
that's
Carrie.
the best case scenario. But it would be weird, wouldn't it, walking into a completely different house but with all your stuff in it?
Yeah.
That's wild.
It was. I mean, we'd put an offer on the house, so I knew the house I was moving into. It's just that it wasn't finalised and that. But, it was like starting all over again.
Yeah, that's right.
Carrie, when you came back from your holiday, driving to a new address, was that weird?
It was.
Yeah.
I went to the wrong house first.
Yes. When
you're an autopilot.
When my cousin was in, the first year out of high school, she was an exchange student in Japan for a year. Oh. And when she came back, her parents had moved house. And so, they did tell her. They told her where she was going. But she had so she didn't get to say goodbye to the old house, nothing. Like, everything that she owned was just picked up and moved into the new house that she had. She's like, where are we going? Like, she had no knowledge of it whatsoever.
So strange.
Isn't that weird?
Yep.
Yeah, it's so good. Thanks, Carrie.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Welcome.
In the house.
Liam Bartlett. It's so good to see you
How are
again,
you,
sir.
Yeah, thank you.
We are fantastic. You look well today.
It's always great to be here. I'll get a lift, Sean.
Yo, and so, as do we. This is mutually beneficial for all of us.
I was talking metaphysically. You know, my whole metabolic rate goes up. I come in here, the heart starts pounding, but my skin starts glowing. It's unbelievable. I feel like sort of I'm, not Kim Kardashian on speed, but
You're on.
got that whole thing going on.
Yeah, we've got similar chest to Kim.
Yeah.
I've noticed.
And butt. What about his butt?
Oh, he's got a great butt, Liam. He's big on squats, hack squats in particular.
Now, we better talk about Spotlight because, that's you're all about Spotlight. And you've got... So talk to us about this episode this week because it wasn't a case that's front of mind for a lot of people. So
No. When it first came out,
yes, it was big at the time, and then we forgot about it.
Well, the reason we forgot about it is because she went to jail.
So we're talking about what was it called? The iced coffee killer? Is that what it's called?
Yes. Well, there's a lady called Jessica Wongso.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she's an Australian resident. And she was living in Sydney, since she was a young teenager.
Yes.
And she was best friends with another girl who is also, they're Indonesian by birth.
Yeah.
And this other girl, Myrna Salihin, they both went to the design school, what they call the Billy Blue Design School in, it's quite a, prestigious design college in Sydney.
Yep.
Because they both come from fairly wealthy families.
Yep.
Anyway, cut a long story short, Myrna having been to the college, Myrna went back to Indonesia and was doing very well personally and professionally. And Jessica was not doing that well in Sydney. Anyway, she lost her job and then she lost a boyfriend and there was a few other bits and pieces, as you'll see on Sunday night. Anyway, she went back to Jakarta to catch up with Myrna, who had just been married. And she organised a coffee catch-up. Take note of this, Sean.
Yes.
Oh, no. I just bought coffee.
That's why I don't drink coffee. Sorry. Continue. Amy's just getting
Amy made you a coffee.
Amy, your producer, has just bought me one. Well, she's made one, actually, and that's even worse. But sorry, Ames. But anyway, she organised this coffee catch-up. So there was three girls together. Myrna, another girl called Hani, which was a mutual friend. Anyway, the three girls went to this cafe. Jessica got there about an hour and a half early and took the liberty of pre-ordering their drinks and got her friend Myrna an iced coffee. You know Vietnamese iced coffee?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Myrna took one sip, started frothing at the mouth, convulsing, fell over, and an hour later she was dead.
Yeah, right. And so what sort of poisoning was it? They must have...
Cyanide.
Okay, so that's serious stuff. And that's something that you could just throw in.
Well,
if given the opportunity.
And there sort of unravels the murder mystery, right?
So she was convicted, yeah?
She was convicted.
Yes. So we don't have to say allegedly.
Oh, no.
She was
There was a trial for 4 months, 5 months.
Yeah.
It's the biggest criminal trial in Indonesian history. Like, it was telecast every day. It was just like...
Bigger than Chappelle.
Mate, it was unbelievable. It captivated the whole nation.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Anyway, found guilty, and they gave her... The death penalty was up for grabs, but they decided to give her 20 years. Instead. She served 8 and she's just got out.
Wow.
So she's trying to rebuild her life and she
thought by do that she would talk to you.
She would sit down with me and have a chat.
I've got to ask you though, so we've seen the promos and I was talking to you about this recently. She is smiling, Jessica,
yes,
and laughing. You were asking her serious questions. So, can you tell me what that was all about?
Well, it's a great question.
Thank you. Write that down, Peter.
Well done, Sean.
Good job.
Yeah, no, good. It's unanswerable. I mean, I'm sure somebody on Sunday night will sit down and think, and they'll look at it. Somebody with a professional qualification in psychology
and body language.
Yeah, we'll be able to look at that and say that's such and such. There's got to be a classification for it.
Sure.
But the mental part of that, I've just got to say it is weird. It's weird. And when you're sitting down opposite someone who is a guaranteed killer,
that's right,
a
convicted killer.
Yeah. And I mean,
but she is asserting her innocence. I take it.
She's never owned up to it.
Right. She's
always said she was innocent. But the way, and look, I suppose it's a bit like the opposite of. Do you remember the Lindy Chamberlain sort of whole thing? That was the original thing, right? Where
her reactions weren't what people thought they should have been, right?
Exactly.
They thought, she was cold, she wasn't she didn't cry.
Exactly.
And so people judged her because of that, even though it turned out that she was innocent.
Exactly. She's not being sad enough.
Yes.
She's not crying on cue, as you suggest. Everything like that. So I guess Jessica was the opposite. She was smiling inappropriately.
Yes.
Where
I fear that's what I would do. Because I'm somebody that tends to start laughing when I'm nervous.
Pressure, you're nervous.
Yeah.
Well, they labelled her in Indonesia. They labelled her the iced coffee, the smiling coffee killer.
Because of smiling at the time?
Yes.
Yeah, so even when the friend was convulsing and on the floor and clearly in some distress?
Well, there is CCTV of that, of her standing by the side of the table. We'll show you that on Sunday night.
So she doesn't rush to her assistance or anything?
It's pretty fascinating the way it plays out. It's amazing that. But all through the trial, like going to the court every day, even when she was convicted, still sort of smiling in the face of doom.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Hey, Liam, when you're doing this and doing research on this, is it interesting to get all the backstory for you? Because I'd imagine you'd be reading court documents and
absolutely
transcripts.
No, it's fascinating because, as you know, Sean, the media can only, whether it's Indonesia or Australia, I mean, this was a world thing. This was globally reported during the time. But every day, you only get snatches of bits and pieces.
Yeah.
When you go back and have a look at the whole thing and you see different things in nooks and crannies, that's the really interesting part of that research. And then you can present it to the person who was actually convicted. Because you see, she had 2 appeals. Both of them got chucked out.
Yeah, right.
Now she's got this thing called a judicial review, which is where this panel of judges gets together. It's a bit like our High Court appeal, right?
Yeah.
It's Last Chance Cafe.
Yep.
The way the Indonesian system works, but she wants it to rule in her favour. That's the motivation for her sitting down with us, sitting down opposite me.
Oh,
I mean, you
okay.
have to have some reason, right?
And do you think after having done that it will work? The interview with you will work in her favour or work against her?
Well, I'll ring you on Monday morning. I'll see what you reckon because see, she wants to come back to Australia because she's a permanent Australian resident.
Yes.
And some of her family are here, still in Sydney. So, but she can't come back. She's on parole until 2032.
Yes. So, yeah, because she's paroled, she can't back.
Yeah, she can't come back unless she's ruled innocent.
How interesting.
When is the Indonesian government going to stop you going over there? Because you are uncovering a whole lot of
Did you do
stuff.
this story at the same time that you're in
really
Indonesia
lovely.
for the electric vehicle battery story?
I want to be down in Legian one day, walking the streets with you, having the bintang, and someone comes up and goes, mate, we've been looking for you for years.
I've waited years for you to invite me to the family holiday.
It's so weird. It's so weird that you haven't been invited on that.
I can't understand it.
Hey, Liam, we can catch that on Sunday night, of course, at 8 o'clock on Channel 7, but you're going to stick around and be a part of Easel Does It. Are you a good drawer?
Oh, terrible. I can't even draw an elephant.
Why would you want to draw an elephant?
Well, don't they reckon that's one of the easiest things to draw?
Yeah,
oh, is it? Oh, is it?
That's what they say.
Ah.
Well, that's what they said in art class before they threw me out.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast. Easy, easy, easy. Easel Does It.
Nathan, Nat and Sean are feeling the vibe. WA's best young artists on show at the West Australian Pulse. Now at the Art Gallery of WA.
All right, so here we go. We've got $1,000 cash to celebrate the West Australian Pulse. It's now on at the Art Gallery of WA. 2 callers standing by.
We'll start with Brian because he's the first through. Good morning to you, Brian.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning, Brian.
Brian, you get to make an important decision, Brian. There are 2 teams that you can choose from. One is Sean McManus and our mate Ross.
And then there's the A team.
And then
That's right.
Then there's Liam Bartlett and myself. Brian, whose team would you like to be on?
I'm going to go with you, Nat and Liam.
Yes! Come on.
Brian.
I would like to say, yes.
Sorry, guys.
Can I say as well, before off air, Liam threatened me if I beat him with some
too.
death.
With a ribeye.
Well,
Didn't happen. I don't know what you're talking about.
no, I never heard it.
That means Eloise, hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Eloise,
Eloise.
that means you are teaming up with Sean and Ross.
Well, we're coming off the back of a victory yesterday, Eloise.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the doctor said.
Now they lost 2 in a row.
That was really good. Okay, so now what happens is you need to take your headphones off.
Oh,
because
Block
we
your
can't.
ears.
Oh, okay.
And block your ears,
All right.
and then once we go, we'll start with the drawing.
Here we go.
Okay, let's hear what we're drawing today.
This artwork is person riding a chicken.
Okay, it's a person.
Well, that looks good. That's good, man.
And a bird.
That's good. That's a bird. That's a
Bird watching.
Bird watching. No.
Man.
Bird under the sun. No. Birdman. Birdman.
A big bird?
Big bird.
Sesame Street?
Oh, no.
bird.
No. Bird.
Yeah, a man riding a bike. Flying a bike.
With that.
A bird.
Ross, no words. I do like your profuse pointing and whacking, though.
Person, girl, boy.
Getting swooped.
Man.
Can't piece this together. A man riding a bike.
Bird.
A man flying a bike.
Bike.
A man riding.
No.
A bird riding a bike. Flying bike.
Man. On a bird. On a bird. Riding a bird. Man riding a bird.
Yeah, we're going to give you that, Liam.
Thank you, mate.
Person riding a chicken.
It was a chicken, but
That's a difficult
Person riding a chicken.
Person riding a
there's
chicken.
the egg.
Yeah, man riding a bird. Man riding a bird. That's the same thing.
Exactly the same thing.
Steggles.
serious?
Steggles, big bird,
You didn't
chicken.
say Steggles, mate.
No, but that's.
All right, you two, come on.
Number 2.
Another one.
The masterpiece is dog barking at the windmill.
Oh, man, okay.
Okay, we're off.
Here we go. Very difficult with.
A cat.
Sean puts you off with the way he just
Are
chats.
you allowed to write words?
Fat cat.
No letters or numbers, no words.
Windmill.
A cat.
Windmill.
Flying a windmill. Win. Is it a cat?
Go Nat.
Oh,
That's
dog.
a great windmill. That's a fantastic. Dog.
A dog.
Dog on a
looking at a windmill.
Dog.
Dog
No.
looking.
Dog in the wind.
close.
Dog in
Questioning.
the wind. Puppy in the wind.
What
Puppy
is
with
that?
lots of wind.
that's cheating.
I had a cough.
Very dog-sounding
Dog
cough.
talking to a
Dog
windmill.
barking at a windmill.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got Liam Bartlett there. The barking.
And that was
the
even with Ross
important part.
cheating. Imagine.
Rough.
Sore throat. You're going off my answers, aren't you?
No.
My windmill was pretty good.
Very
Okay,
off-putting.
it's 2-0 everyone, so that means Brian is on the cusp of victory.
Come on, Brian.
Could be a clean sweep.
Okay,
Come on,
but
Brian.
You might come back. You never know. All right.
Is there 3? Is it best of 3?
First two.
Three.
Yes, well, we got 2.
You got to get 3. First 2, 3.
Is this
Block your ears.
Irish competition?
First of 3. Could be a pantsing here for Ross and Sean. Here is number 3.
This artwork is chairs under a waterfall.
Here we go.
Okay, drawing.
Sean just...
A chair.
Unbelievable. How do people do this every day without going to the asylum? Here we go.
A chair in front of a cave. A rock.
Waterfall. That's a waterfall.
A waterfall. Chair waterfall.
No,
Sitting in front of a waterfall.
Sitting in front of a waterfall.
A chair.
A chair. Sitting chair. Waterfall.
Chair under a waterfall.
Oh,
And word perfect. Shawnee Mack takes it to 2-1.
Easy.
just.
All right.
Okay, don't let him come back.
We
Liam,
can come back and flare, Sean.
blocking your ears.
We can come back to the GST.
Down the wing.
Cans off. Number 4.
The artwork is butterfly with teeth.
Okay, we're underway.
Here we go. Peanut.
Okay.
No.
Butterfly.
Butterfly. Is that a butterfly? No. Yes. Yeah.
Is it a butterfly?
Butterfly.
Okay.
Cocoon.
Well, why are you
chrysalis,
drawing extra parts when I've already guessed butterfly?
Chrysalis.
Butterfly eating.
Mothballs.
Butterfly biting.
Eating, butterfly
Butterfly chewing.
Butterfly.
Butterfly caterpillar.
Butterfly stinging. Butterfly
Caterpillar.
stinging. Butterfly. Butterfly talking. Butterfly buzzing. Butterfly.
Butterfly.
1,000.
Eating a loaf of bread.
Eating. Butterfly eating.
Butterfly
teeth.
eating.
Butterfly teeth.
Eating. Butterfly. Butterfly teeth.
Ross, you're a terrible cheat.
I had...
We can hear you.
Unbelievable.
And despite the cheating, that is 3-2. Liam
Brian,
and Nat.
we did it. Brian, you've won $1,000 cash to celebrate the West Australian Pulse. It's on now at the Art Gallery of WA.
Great choice, Brian. Great choice, mate.
Well done, Brian. You're
Sorry,
very
Eloise.
welcome.
Great choice.
And Eloise, sorry that you teamed up with a bunch of cheaters as well.
Yeah.
Just
Ross, drawing,
Next
not
time, Eloise.
now noises.
I still didn't get them.
Hey, guess what? We're doing it again tomorrow, everybody, where our
good time.
special guest on Easel Does It will be Joel Creasy.
Oh, wow.
Going to be joining us. I know, nearly as special as you, Liam. Liam.
From boiled lollies to... Oh, never mind. Shocking.
Liam, thank you so much for
thanks,
joining us
guys.
this morning.
So
Spotlight Sunday night, 8 o'clock on Channel 7. Do not miss it.
Thanks, guys.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast. Last quarter.
Spend more time doing you things, like cheering on your home team from the Bankwest Best Seats.
We got 2 premium Bankwest Best Seats to see the Eagles take on St Kilda this Sunday, and we're talking premium seating, food and drinks included.
Fantastic, though. You've got to be the last man standing. 5 people, 4 questions, 4 quarters. Cherie, good morning.
Good morning.
Cherie, welcome to the last quarter, first of all. We have an important question to ask you. Cherie, how do you win the last quarter?
You win the last quarter?
Yes, Cherie.
Thank you, Cherie.
That is
Stay.
100% correct. Paige, hello.
Good morning.
I mean, it's much easier now that Cherie's told you, but how do you win the last quarter, Paige?
You win the last quarter.
Boom, there it is. Okay.
Can I ask you both, though, quickly, who do you go for? Paige, I'll start with you.
Richmond.
Richmond Tigers.
Oh, Paige, stop laughing.
Winners
Thank
last
you.
week.
I know,
Cherie?
that's why I'm mad at her. Cherie, who do you barrack for?
My husband would make me say the Eagles.
Okay.
What does
gonna
your
have
heart say?
No preference.
No, I don't care. I don't care. It's just in the background.
No, fair enough. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Welcome. This is the last quarter. We're about to enter the first quarter. We will ask you a question. If you know the answer, buzz in with your name. If you get it right, you're through to the second quarter. If you get it wrong, your opponent moves through to the second quarter. So let's test your buzzers. Cherie?
Cherie.
Paige?
Paige.
They're working, guys. The siren's gone.
First quarter question, here it is. Who played Rachel Green on Friends?
Paige. Cherie.
Paige?
Jennifer Aniston.
Paige is through to the second quarter.
Out of the blocks.
Can't believe we let the Richmond supporters through. Okay, in the second quarter, Paige, you're taking on Craig from Seville Grove. Morning, Craig.
Good morning.
Craig, how do you win the last quarter?
You win the last quarter, mate.
Hey, Craig, who do you barrack for?
I'm an Eagles man.
Okay,
Righto.
good man. Okay, let's test your buzzer, Craig.
Craig?
It's working. Okay, Paige v. Craig, second quarter question. Who is the current Premier of Western Australia?
Craig.
Craig.
Roger Cook.
Craig's through to the third quarter. Bye, Paige. Craig, in the third quarter, you're taking on Candice from Lansdale.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Candice, how do you win the last quarter, Candice?
You win the last quarter.
Of course you do.
There it is.
Of course you
And who do you barrack
We'll bring
for?
out merch, by the way.
100% West Coast. My dad's
Okay.
still got his original 92 jacket. Yeah.
Wow. Good on you, Candice.
Candice, all right. You deserve to win this. Okay. Let's test your buzzer, Candice.
Candice.
All right. Welcome to the third quarter.
Here is the question. What number did Chris Judd wear at West Coast Eagles?
Craig.
Craig.
Number 3.
Number 3
yes,
it is.
Good. All
One of
right,
the great
Craig.
Chris May wearing.
You've gone and done it. You're through to the last quarter where you're taking on Jack from Lake Coogee. Good morning, Jack.
Hey, guys.
How do you win the last quarter, Jack?
You win the last quarter.
Who do you barrack for?
Freo.
Yeah.
Bloody hell you do, Jack. Let's go. GWS. We've got him on the ropes. I can feel it already.
All right. Let's test your buzzer, Jack.
Jack.
It's working. All right. We're in the last quarter.
We are.
You know what that means. Here is your last quarter question. In which state is the Big Banana tourist attraction? Craig, for the win.
Queensland?
Craig? No.
Jack, you've already won.
You've won it, mate. Just sometimes
Well, Craig kicked it out in the full.
saying it's best when you say nothing at all. Jack, for doing absolutely nothing, you've won 2 premium Banquets Best Seats to see the Eagles take on St Kilda this Sunday. Premium seating, food and drinks are all included.
Awesome.
Jack.
Thank you, guys.
That was a Stephen Bradbury moment, if we've ever seen one.
Coffs Harbour, isn't it? Is that where the Big Banana
Coffs
is?
Harbour, well
Coffs
done,
Harbour,
Nat.
which is northern New South Wales. Sorry, Craig. Jack's the winner, everybody. Last quarter, we'll be back again tomorrow.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
It's the Perth Comedy Festival, and we are wall-to-wall comedians
We
at
are,
the moment.
very lucky.
And that, geez, they're quality. We get the good stuff.
Nazeem.
They've warmed up at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, and then they've come here with the gold. Nazeem Hussain, welcome back.
Hello. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And, hey, you're a comedian too. You've been getting up.
I mean, I wouldn't put myself in the same bracket as you, but thank you. I have been getting up a little bit.
20 minutes at the Regal Theatre. That's huge.
But Nat, you were on last week for Mother's Day.
I did a Mother's Day gala on
God.
Sunday. Yeah,
Doing it, mate.
That was
Lovely
just
doing
a
it.
cheeky 10.
Sheesh. You're stealing my
Where
audience.
I just spent the whole time bagging out my mum.
That's my shtick.
You do too. Absolutely.
I've met your mum, actually. I sat next to her at you hosted Raw Comedy years ago, and your mum was sitting next to me.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she was late too.
That was years ago.
Yeah, and then
that was when I first got into comedy.
Yeah, and she sat there. So you were hosting Raw Comedy, and she was sitting there, and she was so proud.
Oh my God.
She was so proud.
Yeah, she makes it known that she's there. Was she wearing like something bright?
Yes, she was.
So this year she's come. So the Melbourne Comedy Festival was like 22. I did 26 shows, and she came to about 15 of them.
Wow.
And like she'll act all like she comes in a little bit late. So
yes, she does.
A bit of an entrance, and then I acknowledge her. She stood up and bowed to everybody in the audience.
Yeah.
So she was.
I love her.
So great.
I love her so much. But she's proud as punch of you.
Proud as punch. Well, when I first started doing stand-up, actually, I used to work at PwC. I was a professional.
Yeah, you were a tax consultant. Or something,
I did. I studied law science, then ended up there. But anyway, it was the first flyer on the table at the uni. It said, "You don't need a commerce degree to work for us." And then so I clearly didn't. Anyway, so if you got tax advice from me, get a second opinion.
Yes, exactly. Oh, they're all in prison. Don't worry about it.
Hey, Nazeem, I ask this a lot. There's a lot of comedians who start in law.
Yeah, because it's real boring, man. It's like, but also like, I guess you kind of got to have a level of arrogance to be a lawyer.
Yeah, true.
You've got to be good with your words, or you've got to care about words enough.
And you're smart, so that helps.
Well, yeah, smart enough, I guess, to to quit law. But yeah, no. Anyway, so I remember when I started doing comedy, I was doing this show Legally Bound. I was working at PwC, and then I went to, I sort of quit, but didn't tell my mum. So I'd leave the house. I was living with her with a suit and tie, and then I'd go do the show, and then change back into my suit and tie to
You're
go
like the
home.
guy in the Full Monty.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah. And then it was like a double life. I was hiding from my mum instead of. Anyway, then she came to work like about 6 months into it to drop off lunch for me, and she goes to reception. She's like, "Hi, I'm just here to drop off lunch for my son, Nazeem. He works here, level 19." And they put my name in the thing, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, no, there's no Nazeem." She's like, "No, he left the house this morning. He just forgot his lunch." And then they're like, "No, he hasn't worked here for 6 months." Oh. And then she was like, "What the blood?" And she called me up, "Nazeem, I'm at work. Where the bloody hell?" I'm like, "Where were you?" I'm at a subsidiary. And I just made up this absolute crap. But then I think she knew. We never spoke about it.
What? You never had a conversation about that ever?
But then there was like, Julie, remember Julia Zamira did that show Home Delivery?
Yes.
So they came to our house to talk to my mum and just get a sense of my upbringing. And she goes, "So Mrs. Hussain, how does it feel to know that your son, you left Sri Lanka for this better life, to give him a good future. He became a lawyer, but then he's gone and done comedy. How does that feel?" And that was the first time she has heard it
put it all together
plainly like that. And she just smiled and it was just like, "Yes, he did that." And just sort of, and it was just like she was just mourning on television.
Yes.
In real time.
How many people do you think have been caught out that way, by the way? Because they've told a story, they're living a different life, and then...
most people do it when they're having an affair, not cheating on their mum's expectations.
I think that the girl that started Showpo, she's one of the sharks on Shark Tank. That's what she did. So she started
Showpo?
this... Yeah, it's an online clothing store, and she started doing it from the garage, but she told her parents she still had her corporate job, and she would do the same, get dressed and go off.
In Ireland, remember they had that financial crisis thing a few years back?
Yep.
Like all these men were doing that. They were ashamed of not, breadwinning, and so they'd just go pretend to be at work and then, be crying with their friends, and then they'd come home and, "Oh, it was a great day at work."
Yeah, but they drank 100 pints. So they were all shot.
Just, more and more debt every day. So,
extraordinary.
At least you guys have it. This is a job, isn't it?
Is it?
They can hear you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's evidence. There is evidence.
No, but there is a lot of people who tell us this isn't a job, particularly in my household.
Yeah, I mean...
What you're doing is not a job.
Well, if you don't want it, I'll have it. I'm here. I can't even tell my kids my kids sort of know what I do, but I can't show them what I do yet because it's like, here I am at home, don't swear. You can't say the, penis and stuff like that. And here I am
doing it for a living and getting paid really well.
Yeah.
I remember we interviewed you once, it was a long time ago, obviously, where you told us that you had rented a place and hadn't told your mum you were moving out of home. Do you remember that?
Gosh, I've told you a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you have. Yeah. We've known you for a long time.
Yeah, that's right.
You've kept a lot from your mum, and she's not even that scary to sit next to anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But wait till she faces you and starts asking you about your taxable income. Is that all you've done with your life? She's intense, but brings out the best in us. But yeah, actually, that's right. First time I moved out of home, my friend, he actually lived in kind of like a housing commission thing.
Right.
And he was away for a while, and he was like, "You want to stay there? I need someone to stay there, so I keep the flat."
Yes.
And so I was there for 6 months, and I sort of over days just kept moving stuff out. And then
to see if your mum would notice.
"Yeah, where's the furniture going?" I'm like, yeah, there's IKEA receipts around the room.
Yeah, friends of mine, a high school friend, she moved. She and her sister rented an apartment, like a little townhouse thing, and rented it for a year. So paid leased it for a year, signed a year-long lease, but they were too scared to tell their Greek parents that they were moving out, and so they never did. They never moved into it. They just left it vacant for.
Well, you know what? People say that it's so weird that adults need to seek permission from their parents and from these ethnic backgrounds. But the thing is, cost of living crisis. I'm going to say this. Well, people complaining about house prices. That's a white kid problem. All right. For us, we live at home till we're like 33, 34.
Too scared to leave.
Exactly. We've saved enough to buy a house in cash. Right?
That is true.
I know. My friends are like, "Oh my God, I can't buy a house in inner city Melbourne." It's like, yeah. Well, why don't you freaking live with your parents till you're 45, and then you'll be able to afford a one-bedroom.
Because you're too scared to tell them you're moving.
Exactly.
Now, your show's called You Paid for This, which is sounds like. Yeah.
I'm being almost a threat. It's a threat, isn't it? Hey, it's your fault for being here.
This is on you.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think I had to come up with the title before I knew what the show was, and I was like, I don't even know what this is yet. But
it's a very familiar tale for comedians, isn't it? Yeah.
It's also like assumptive selling. I used to work as a telemarketer. I like to break down stereotypes, and I remember there was this sort of strategy we did. Like I was working for Telstra actually, and so they go, when you're calling customers, sort of like this thing called assumptive selling. So you're telling them to buy a product, but you sort of assume that they're going to do it. So you're like, all right, so what name do you want me to put that under? And they're like, wait, so I didn't even say yes to it. And then you have to act surprised, like, sorry, I just thought you wanted to save money.
Sorry, why would you want this deal?
Yeah, I just thought you were a reasonable person with high IQ, but that's cool. No, all good. All right, I'll call someone who wants to save money. So you sort of do that with the title of this show.
Yes,
you paid for
this.
And then they're like, I didn't. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I just thought you wanted to have a good night. And all right, enjoy yourself. But no, all good. Do something boring if you want. Or sneak in.
By the way, when you do that gig, do you get paid commission? Because you're just getting...
I get paid in food. I really don't know. I hate looking at this is I don't know if people are going to relate to this, but you see the ticket when you get your settlement for the show, you see your ticket prices at the top, like this is how much gross you sold.
And because everybody's sitting there going that the Regal Theatre holds just over 1,000 people, about 1,050 if it's sold out.
The maths,
and then and everyone's going, God, he's making so much money.
And then you look at all the line items, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. I get to take home a single digit.
They're like, here's your $10.
Yeah, totally. So it's like, it's very, but we do it for the fun.
That's right. And prestige, right?
About paying the bills.
Yeah.
Go and see tonight, by the way. There's a couple of seats available, but you want to get in real quick.
So you've got shows on tonight and tomorrow night. Tomorrow night sold out.
Tomorrow night
can't
sold
come
out.
Tomorrow.
Tonight there are some seats. Or if you can't afford it, this has worked at the TikTok Awards in Sydney. I was emceeing the thing.
Yeah.
And I was there backstage. And
what a room that would be, by the way.
Red carpet thing, all these, freaking influencer people, and I don't even. Everyone's walking around with a selfie. Like,
of course they were.
What a nightmare.
Films. It was a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, and actually to perform to people who are used to just being listened to, it was horrible. But anyway, when I was backstage in the green room, suddenly the security opens the door, goes, "Here you go," and some other guy comes in, and I'm like, "Hello," and he goes, "Hi." The security thought I was you and brought me backstage. Into the green room. It was just another brown guy, looks nothing like me.
To sit with
and you're like, Gil Rourke, go home.
Come on, Wally, don't you have the project? Some random dude. I got a photo. I'll show you the photo, but it was so if you want to try and get in, you can't afford. Just go.
Just look a bit like you.
Sorry, I'm a bit late. There was a stage door again.
Yeah.
What's the code? And then just you'll be able to get through.
That's a good idea. By the way, you just mentioned that the security guard bringing that guy in. When I walked in, you were telling Nat about a story of being invited to the cricket.
Oh my God! Yeah, I got the MC.
And I never caught it all, but I want to hear it.
Oh, it's like every year the MC, the Melbourne
MCC is unbelievable.
So that's like the members area at the MCG.
It's the most exclusive club in the world. I think.
You have to sign your kids up before they're born.
Yeah, normally 20 years before you can get in.
30 years or something now. I mean, you got to pay each year to be on the waiting list.
Yeah,
anyway, once a year they have this like very special function where they invite a bunch of VIPs into the committee room, and you got to wear a tie and this and that, and they invite me when Australia is playing one of the brown countries. So whether it's like Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, they were like, get that.
Hey, looking around. Who can we get?
Well, literally, it's me, Dilruk, and Sammy Shah. And so I'm there, and they're going through the VIP. They're welcoming everybody. The MC's reading through all the dignitaries and blah blah blah. And it gets to my name, and he literally goes, "And we've got an Australian comedian. He's he has a show Legally Brown. Blah blah blah. Give it up for Narita Hazard." What the hell?
Not even close.
And I was like, "Do you mean me?" And he goes, "Yeah, no." And he read it again, and he goes, "Welcome, everybody." It's not even my friend Hisham Habibullah. He goes, "Hasha Habala." I was like, "All right, this guy is just his brain just broke."
It just looks and gives up. Basically. But Nazeem is not exactly a difficult name. You look at it, you sound it out. No. That's what it is. There's no doubt. There's no grey areas.
Well, this is my pitch for replacing Nathan on the show. When I order coffee, my go-to name is often Nathan.
Oh, because it's easier to say.
Well, because this is what someone once said to me. I said Nazeem, and she goes, "Do you have something easier to pronounce?" I was thinking, easier. Like Nazeem is easier to pronounce.
It's very easy to pronounce.
I think so.
Easy and pronounce. Those are 3-syllable.
Yes.
Well, anyway, but Nathan's my that's my coffee.
That's your go-to.
I've got a mate. His name is was Byron, but he always used to say, particularly he reckons when he was ordering Chinese takeaway was the one thing they could never get his. So he just goes by Brian.
It's easier.
Oh my God, yeah, but because like R's and L's, I think Asian people mess up a little. Like just like V's and W's for Sri Lankans. Like if there's a V, they will say V. You know, like I'm very hungry. I'm very hungry. Like so, Volvo is a tricky word. Whoa.
How do you go to Revolver on a Saturday?
So if you want to get backstage, say hi, I'm here for Nazeem Hussein's shove. No, it doesn't work at the end of the word.
Hey Nazeem, whilst you're here, you're telling us you're doing a few MC gigs around the joint. MC gigs or just
you know, sometimes.
And where are you going?
Corporate gigs.
I just do like, you know, I just do whatever. If someone's got a gig for me and it's for a company or a corporate, you know, if it's not cool, I won't tell anybody about it on my socials. But I'll.
He'll do it.
Yeah.
He'll definitely do it.
Hughesy does gigs in lounge rooms, by the way. Like, you know, comedians. You think
Hughesy can't say no to things. So famously doesn't turn anything down, does he?
Yeah, he'll do gigs.
What if you had a birthday party? You could get him to come and just do one in your front.
You could get Hughesy to come if you offered cash. I mean, he declares all his income.
Of course he does. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but yeah, you know, you do corporate gigs and you fly. The thing with like stand up is that you know people are paying you to tell jokes, and the further they're flying you out, and the more they're paying, the more pressure there is on the. And sometimes I'm doing jokes, and in the middle of it, I'm like, they're paying for this. Like, what the hell?
That's the name of your show. What about our friend Dave Callan? He has done cruise ship comedy, where you do your gig and then you're on a ship with the audience. How would you feel about that?
I've only done one. It was when I first started out. Actually, it was a Bollywood themed event.
What did they pick you?
It was I have no idea. I'm Sri Lankan. We have a Tollywood set, which is anyway. So I was doing the gig. It was really bad, and then you're stuck on the boat with them. And I remember like my job was to do the comedy and then to mingle. Mingling was part of my contract.
God, won't they let you call bingo or something?
No, and only two people spoke to me. One person came up and said, "Hey Nazeem, where are the toilets?" And then someone else came up to me and said, "Hey Nazeem, if you try hard enough, you might be as good as Akmal one day." And then I saw anyway. So then,
hey Nazeem, can you hold my jacket for me?
And I remember like I was like, oh man, this is so embarrassing. I've got 3 more hours, and then it was like poker themed as well. So I was sitting at the table playing poker with everybody. It was just like, you know, with the fake money they give you. And I was like, all right, cool, this is great. You know, I'm mingling. I had my head down. Everybody knew that I'd done really badly. And then at one point, someone goes, "Oh, hey Nazeem, do you mind passing me the rules over there?" And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'm being helpful. And I leant across the table, and there was a big jug of like beer,
and I
knocked it over, and it went all over the poker table. Everyone looked up. I was like, "Oh, it's that crap comedian again." And it's just
can he get anything right?
Threw you overboard. It's like it's too big a liability. Oh, too good. All right, go and check out Nazeem's show. You paid for this. It's on tonight at the Regal Theatre, 7 o'clock. Tickets from perthcomedyfestival.com. Snap them up because and tonight's the only night you can go. But what else are you doing on a Thursday night?
I mean, what are you doing? Maybe I can get you to open.
Yeah, I mean, the Regal is my happy hunting ground. 2 gigs there, you know. The history speaks for itself.
Join the dots.
Thanks so much, Nazeem. It's always great catching up with you. We'll see you again soon.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Tomorrow on the show, our mate Joel Creasy is going to be stopping by and he's going to play Easel Does It as well.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. $1,000 on the line for that one. Jeremy McGovern will come in. We'll find out probably this afternoon whether he's listed to play. There are concerns whether they give him another week with his concussion symptoms. We'll wait and see.
And an old mate of ours, we know him as Tim Collins. You might know him as the Bin Chicken.
The original Bin Chicken.
I know. He is a social media sensation. He's got nearly 700,000 followers on Instagram and probably a few more on TikTok. Like he
built it all while he was working here.
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? Came from nowhere. Another person that worked with us and then just took off the moment they left.
Fly, my friend, fly.
Ross, hello.
Morning.
Hey, Ross.
Just looking at Nathan and Sean Instagram. Tim has about, 40 times the followers.
What's your point?
He's genuinely funny. We're not.
That's on him because it was his job to build up our followers.
Yeah.
That was his actual job.
He sabotaged.
Yeah, interesting.
Done well by
I'm going to
himself.
have to bring that up with him tomorrow. Yeah.
So that'll be good.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.